We are aware of the body in the sitting posture, and we let the mind rest on the body, just as the body rests on the cushion. And without losing this embodied presence of the mind, we will now proceed through the first two spokes in the wheel of our Satipatthana practice. Anatomical parts done swiftly, and elements done slowly. Beginning with the anatomical parts, starting on top of the head, aware of skin, and from the top of the head to the face, neck, both shoulders simultaneously, both arms, the hands, front of torso, back of torso, both hips, the legs, and the feet. And we are aware of this whole body in the sitting posture of the skin, cultivating an attitude of non-attachment. And the flesh, beginning with the feet, moving up the legs, the hips, and the torso, the hands, the arms, the shoulders, neck, and head. And we are aware of this whole body in the sitting posture of its fleshy parts, cultivating an attitude of non-attachment. And the bones, beginning with the head, from the head to the neck, shoulders, arms, hands, torso, hips, legs, and the feet. And we are aware of this whole body in the sitting posture of its bones, cultivating an attitude of non-attachment. And the elements, earth element, solidity, hardness, starting with the head, aware of the head area and knowing there's some earth element. No need to strain or force ourselves, trying to distinctly feel or sense the earth element. Enough for our purposes to know that it is there. There's some solidity in this part of the body. Particularly evident in the bones, but found throughout the head. And from the head to the neck, aware of this part of the body with the knowledge there's solidity there, earth element. and from the neck to one shoulder. Choosing one shoulder, we are aware of this part of the body with the knowledge there's earth element, that quality of solidity, hardness. From the shoulder to the upper arm, earth element. Lower arm, earth element. And the hand, earth element. The other shoulder, earth element. Upper arm, earth element. Lower arm, earth element. And the hand, earth element. Upper half of torso, earth element. Lower half of torso, earth element. Choosing one hip, earth element. Upper leg, earth element. Lower leg, earth element. And the foot, earth element. Other hip, earth element. Upper leg, earth element. Lower leg, earth element. And the foot, earth element. And we are aware of this whole body in the sitting posture as pervaded by the earth element, with the understanding earth element internally in this body, earth element externally, outside, in nature, just the same. No real difference. And this earth element is not something I can truly own, completely control. This earth element is empty, empty of self. What element, that principle, that quality of cohesion, wetness. And we start off with the foot where we left off. Aware of that foot with the knowledge there's some water element there, particularly prominent in the bodily liquids, in the fleshy parts and organs of the body, but water element is found throughout the foot, throughout the whole body. Aware of this foot and knowing there's water element. From the foot to the lower leg, water element. Upper leg, water element. And the hip, water element. The other foot, water element. lower leg, water element, upper leg, water element, and the hip, water element, lower half of torso, water element, upper half of torso, water element. One hand, water element, lower arm, water element, upper arm, water element, and the shoulder, water element. Other hand, water element, lower arm, water element, upper arm, water element, shoulder, water element, the neck, water element, and the head, water element. And we are aware of this whole body in the sitting posture as pervaded by the water element, with the understanding water element internally, water element externally, just the same, no real difference. And this water element is not something I can truly control, permanently own. This water element is empty, empty of a self. Fire element, that principle, that quality of warmth, temperature, starting with the head. We are aware of the head with the knowledge that there's some fire element in there. Temperature is particularly discernible at the skin level, but fire is found throughout the head, throughout the body. Aware of the head with the knowledge there's some fire element, some temperature, some warmth. And from the head to the neck, fire element. One shoulder, fire element. Upper arm, fire element. Lower arm, fire element. And the hand, fire element. Other shoulder, fire element. Upper arm, fire element. Lower arm, fire element. And the hand, fire element. Upper half of torso, fire element. Lower half of torso, fire element. One hip, fire element. Upper leg, fire element. Lower leg, fire element. And the foot, fire element. Other hip, fire element. upper leg, fire element, lower leg, fire element, and the foot, fire element. And we are aware of this whole body in the sitting posture as pervaded by the fire element, with the understanding fire element internally, fire element externally, just the same, no real difference. And this fire element is not something I can permanently own, truly control. This fire element is empty, empty of a self. And the wind element, the principle, the quality of motion, oscillation, vibration. Starting off with the foot where we left off, aware of the foot, with the knowledge there's some motion going on in there. Some wind element. The most prominent manifestation of the wind element in this body is the process of breathing. But the wind element is found throughout the foot, throughout the whole body. Aware of the foot with the knowledge there's some wind element. And from the foot to the lower leg, wind element. Upper leg, wind element, and the hip, wind element. The other foot, wind element. Lower leg, wind element. Upper leg, wind element, and the hip, wind element. Lower half of torso, wind element. Upper half of torso, wind element. One hand, wind element. Lower arm, wind element. Upper arm, wind element. The shoulder, wind element. The other hand, wind element. Lower arm, wind element. Upper arm, wind element. And the shoulder, wind element. The neck, wind element. And the head, wind element. And we are aware of this whole body in the sitting posture as pervaded by the wind element, with the understanding wind element internally, wind element externally, just the same, no real difference. And this wind element is not something I can permanently own, truly control. This wind element is empty, empty of self. This body, made up of a combination of earth, water, fire and wind elements, empty body, empty of self. And being empty, so dependent on supply of these elements from the outside. Earth element in the form of food, water element in the form of beverage, fire element in the form of warmth, clothing, heating, and wind element in the form of breathing. So dependent, and most dependent on the most ephemeral of these four elements, the wind element, the constant supply of oxygen. So dependent. And having cultivated non-attachment through contemplation of the anatomical parts and insight into emptiness, the emptiness of this body through contemplation of the elements, and having rooted mindfulness well in the body,